Salt by, the name that became a global sensation with a single, swagger-filled salt sprinkle, stepped out of a small Turkish kitchen to share tables with Ronaldo, David Beckham, and DiCaprio. A chef, a living meme, a king of gold-dusted steaks. But the spotlight that social media ignited also became the flame that burned him fastest. From glory to chaos, Salt Bae's fall dragged a slew of scandals too big to extinguish. Customers burned by reckless fire shows, crashing the World Cup pitch, snatching the trophy from Mez hands for a selfie, employees suing over stolen tips, restaurants worldwide sitting empty, bleeding money, and shuddering, and most recently, being escorted out of a Champions League party by security like an overzealous fan without a ticket, to the internet's gleeful applause. So, what turned a man who made salt a symbol into someone who sprinkled his own career into oblivion? We've got a lot to unpack today, so let's dive in. Before the memes, lawsuits, and injured customers, Salt Bae was just a Turkish butcher with above-average knife skills and a flirtatious way of seasoning meat. One viral video later, and boom, he became the meme chef. Suddenly, his elbow flourish was sacred. Celebrities flocked to Istanbul for overpriced steaks, and Salt Bae posed like he'd invented beef itself. But here's the thing, he wasn't famous for the food. He was famous for being a vibe, a meme-worthy vibe, complete with sunglasses, silence, and gold leaf. He turned dining into a viral performance art. But for people like him, the internet doesn't do long-term relationships. And when the meme gets old, so does the man behind it. Which brings us to the moment the entire internet collectively said, "Alright, that's enough." That was the moment Salt Bae was stopped dead in his tracks at the Champions League final. A shock for the ages. Salt Bae showed up uninvited, decked out in a tuxedo and sunglasses like a Turkish James Bond. Security had to personally escort him out of the event. "Not today, mate." Salt Bae took to social media afterward, scrambling to explain, "I wasn't kicked out. I was just passing by." Sure, just passing by in a tuxedo, sunglasses at midnight, amid a crowd of UEFA's invited guests. But this story didn't start at the Champions League. Salt Bae's brand had been spiraling downward for years, and now, it's finally caught up with him. The moment that marked his long slide began on the pitch at the 2022 World Cup, where he slinked in like an outsider, trying to touch the golden trophy as if he'd made history himself. As Argentina choked up, having just defeated France for a historic victory, Salt Bae appeared like that awkward uncle crashing a wedding uninvited. He tugged at Messi, exhausted from the match of his life, trying to snag a selfie, striking poses, doing everything to insert himself into a moment that wasn't his. Then Salt Bae grabbed the World Cup trophy, kissed it like he'd scored the winning goal, and bit a metal like it was gold at a pawn shop. He acted like he was part of the team. He didn't cook that victory, he just sprinkled salt on it. FIFA launched an investigation and banned him. The internet, it was livid. It wasn't just ridiculous, it was an insult. And in that moment, Salt Bae went from an icon of quirky sophistication to a pariah everyone wanted to steer clear of. People stopped imitating him, they started blocking him. He once turned meat into art. Now, he's the meat being carved up by the world's gaze, and no one wants to sprinkle salt on it anymore. So how do you keep building your image after becoming a global laughingstock? For Salt Bae, the answer seems to be, by serving a $1,000 gold-dusted steak to a dictator the world despises. While Venezuela was drowning in a food crisis, with millions surviving on one meal a day, Salt Bae was feeding succulent cuts of luxury meat to President Nicolas Maduro like he was catering to a James Bond villain. The image went viral online, sparking outrage and protests erupting everywhere. People couldn't believe it. In a starving nation, it was a scene straight out of the Hunger Games, Dictator Edition. And just when the dust hadn't even settled, Salt Bae doubled down with a shockingly tone-deaf post paying tribute to Fidel Castro, right before opening his new restaurant in Miami, home to the world's largest Cuban exile community. A move so tactless it felt like a slap in the face of history. People started asking, does this guy not have a PR team, or are they playing a game of weekly scandal roulette? While Salt Bae was busy, getting banned and bashed, his restaurants were quietly crumbling. His flagship London location lost nearly 50% of its profits. Sales plummeted so badly they turned off the heating in the middle of a British winter, leaving customers shivering over $630 steaks. In Boston, the restaurant shut down just a week after opening due to safety violations. New York, closed. Miami, swamped by scandals. In Greece, bookings dropped by 67%. Even in Dubai, the mecca of lavish experiences, critics noted, good service. But the restaurant's a ghost town. Surely you remember the $140,000 bill fiasco. That receipt included a gold-dusted steak, exorbitant wine, and a tip hefty enough to cover a college student's tuition. But the worst part, the food wasn't even good. The gold leaf was just flavorless foil, the kind you can buy on Amazon for $10. Yet Saltby charged thousands to wrap his mediocrity in glitz and call it luxury. People started to realize, wait, this guy's just scamming rich folks chasing Instagram clout. But eventually, even the rich got tired of being made fools of. And don't get me started on Boston. That location closed a week after opening for COVID regulation violations, blocked fire exits, broken fridges, faulty dishwashers, and overcrowding. But trust me, he made things worse. In January 2024, Saltby posted a bill from his Dubai restaurant, totaling over $150,000. Yes, for a single meal. Caption: money comes, money goes, my friend. Mostly goes. It was a boast that backfired spectacularly on his own brand. The backlash was instant. That could feed 100,000 kids. Disgusting during a global recession. You should be ashamed. Don't forget, this is the same guy who served gold-crusted steak to Venezuela's president while his country starved. The people couldn't afford a single meal, but their leader was chowing down on a $1,000 steak. Even more chilling is what happened behind the scenes. A slew of lawsuits accused Saltby of skimming 3% of tips, controlling employees' passports, verbal abuse, and firing without cause. Some liken him to Tony Montana, not for his style, but for his dictatorial grip. A Business Insider investigation, citing 9 former employees from 6 different restaurants, exposed wage theft, discrimination, forcing women to wear revealing outfits, and running operations like a steak-obsessed cult. One ex-manager said, he didn't care about laws. His world was just Instagram and fame. Then came the incident that sent everything into freefall, a botched fire show in Istanbul that left 4 diners burned, including a model with third-degree burns over 35% of her body. Saltby's response: no apology, no support, just deleting the video and staying silent. Not a PR strategy, but a wordless confession. It didn't stop there. In Miami, a customer was threatened with police action, just for refusing to pay for an unordered gold-dusted steak. Yes, actual police. A man faced jail time, not for causing a scene, but for not wanting to eat a piece of meat that glowed like a rapper's accessory. Imagine telling your partner you went to jail for refusing sparkly beef. That's not a crime, it's a dietary preference. An empire built not on flavor but on flash was bound to collapse when no one wanted to pose for pictures anymore. And when the meme gets old, the vibe goes stale. Saltby is no longer a phenomenon, just a reminder. Wrapping mediocrity in gold doesn't make it valuable. And here's the saddest part. Saltby isn't just a controversial chef. He's a man who believed in the meme that made him. Believed so fiercely he forgot how to run a restaurant, forgot what customers need, forgot the line between brand and delusion. Just look at his Instagram. Half-shirtless gym shots with a dreamy stare like he's auditioning for a low-budget Turkish rom-com. 30% awkward selfies with celebrities who don't even know they're tagged. The rest, gold-dusted beef, filtered to look like lighting could make it taste better. The consequences aren't hard to guess. An Instagram account once exploding with millions of likes now scrapes the bottom with engagement below 0.05%. A 70% drop in just a few years. No scandal, no drama. People just stopped caring. Remember Saltby? He didn't just serve meat, he served a vibe. Slow motion videos, dramatic knife flourishes, seductive salt sprinkling glances, luxury cars, bodyguards, and Wagyu beef, all crafted into a glitzy visual spectacle. But when the gold veneer faded, the truth emerged. Customers walked out mid-meal. Reviews called the food decent, not remarkable, and his restaurants turned into Instagram museums for steak. His US locations now sit empty like ghost towns. Harsh, maybe? Wrong. Not quite. Saltby tried to stretch a 5-second salt sprinkle into a billion-dollar empire. But the truth is brutal. You can't build a legacy on stage lights and an $853 steak that tastes like desperation. Eventually, the audience tires of the spectacle, the performance, and the bill's heavy as sin. People don't want a vibe, they want real value. And Saltby lost that long ago. The Saltby brand, once a symbol of dramatic luxury, is now rotting in silence. His social media following has stalled like a dead clock. Engagement plummets, not out of hate, but because no one cares anymore. His posts are now mere digital relics of a bygone golden era. Still the gold knife, still the profound stare from some rocky cliff, still pretending to rule the world. But it's all a stage with no audience, no applause, no eyes watching, just him and the shadow of his former self. Saltby didn't collapse in a storm. He melted like an overcooked steak, bit by bit, day by day. No one saw the clear line between peak and abyss. Just woke up one day to find people no longer flocking to his restaurants, no longer hailing him as a phenomenon, no longer proud to snap photos next to gold-wrapped meat. The string of scandals, the arrogant missteps, and his self-imprisonment in the meme persona turned it all into a redundant tragedy. When the food lost its true flavor, the gold coating only made the artifice more glaring. Saltby could have been a respected chef, maybe even a culinary innovator with a unique style. But instead of choosing substance, he chose showmanship. Instead of building an empire on food, he built it on self-delusion. And like any castle made of mirrors, it shone brightest just before it shattered. This isn't just Salt Bae's story. It's a reminder for us all. Fame isn't forever. Admiration isn't power. And the internet can lift you up, then turn its back faster than you can sprinkle salt. Let us know what you think in the comments. Was Salt Bae always a scam, or did he just get lost in his own sauce? Hope you enjoyed this video. Please like, subscribe, and comment. Have a great day, and see you in the next one.